Good afternoon. Good afternoon, children. Today we are going to start with the vocabulary of the examples oxymoron and hyperbole. So, what is the definition of oxymoron? Oxymoron is a figure. Now we are going to have these two. In the vocabulary itself, we are going to learn with the aspects of two things. One is of oxymoron and one is of hyperbole. What is this oxymoron and hyperbole? Now we are going to have our explanation with the giving of these oxymoron definition. Oxymoron. Now, an oxymoron is a figure of speech. Figure of speech means whatever you are going to have your words that are being spelled from your mouth that just opposes elements appear to be contradictory. So the elements, what is oxymoron? Oxymoron is a figure of speech just opposes, or it is a figure of speech just opposes elements that appear to be contradictory. It combines the words that have opposite meanings. So it combines with that words have opposites or very different meanings to that thing. So those are the oxymorons definition. With the giving of examples, we shall share it now. She let out a quiet scream. She let out a quiet scream. Then how she went out? Just see, contradictory form. If someone goes out, they will make some sound, or going out the thing is given. But now you can see here, she let out a quiet scream. Whatever the things that are there, that isn't makes a scream, or that can be taken as into a quiet. Quiet is the quiet scream. Then the second one is the design is composed of an irregular pattern. The design is composed of an irregular pattern. So what is the design? Then how it is composed of? We are going to see that it is composed an irregular pattern. Then now you are going to see with the example of hyperbole. What is this? It is also a figure of speech in which exaggeration is used for emphasis or effect. So hyperbole is figure of speech in which exaggeration is used for emphasis or effect. And now for that examples, you can see the suitcase weighed a ton. The suitcase which is going to be carried, that weighed a ton. She is as skinny as a toothpick. Then she is as skinny as toothpick means naturally when you are going to see with the fork end of the toothpick, that will be very sharp. So what is the nature of herself is with the sharpness, and that is compared to the toothpick. Then now these are the two words are the vocabulary in which you are going to learn with the oxymorons and hyperbole. Oxymorons just opposes the elements to be contradictory. Then it combines with the opposite words and have a different meanings. And hyperbole is a figure of speech in which the exaggerations is used for emphasis or effect. For that one, you can see of the examples that is given as the suitcase weighed a ton. She is as skinny as a toothpick. And now we are going to give few oxymorons examples to be underlined now. Then in the first sentence, we had to wait forever. We had to wait forever for the bus. We have to ever, forever wait for the bus. The second one is I have a million things to do. The second one is I have a million things to do. Third one, I could sleep for a year. I could sleep for a year. Then it was the most amazing sight ever. It was the most amazing sight ever. Then I am so hungry. I could eat a horse. I am so hungry. I could eat a horse. Then sixth one, I have told you 100 times to wash the dishes. I have told you 100 times to wash the dishes. And these are the hyperbolic expressions. Just see, wait forever, a million things, sleep for a year, amazing sight forever, and I could eat a horse, and I have told you 100 times to wash the dishes. And these are the things which are making use in the hyperbolic expressions of the following sentences given below. Now underline the oxymorons in the sentences. Now what are oxymorons? Exaggeration should emphasize on the effect of the sentences there. And first one we are going to give with the example. The room was filled with a defending silence. The room was filled with defending silence. The clown was seriously funny. The clown was seriously funny. Third one is you are clearly confused. You are clearly confused by the explanation. Did you bring up the original copy? Did you bring up the original copy? She is deeply superficial. She is deeply superficial. That dog is pretty ugly. That dog is pretty ugly. So these are the few examples for the oxymorons which has to be given in the exaggeration is used for the emphasis of the effect there. And now you can see that these are the following examples which are going to be taken under the vocabulary of these oxymorons and hyperboles. Then now come to the words of requesting there. Yes, conversation now we are going to see with the making of requests. So what is this requests? You can see when we are asking someone for something, we need to be polite and courteous. So when we are asking for someone for something, so when we are asking someone for something, we need to be polite, we need to be courteous. In that language also, this is made in the form of questions. So these are made in the form of questions. When it is compared with the language requests are made in the form of questions. We use models, auxiliaries such as can, could, will, would, may, might to frame them. We also use the words please, sorry, thank you, and make personal response in the making to be ourselves in a polite way. So what is this one? Again you can see we need to be polite and courteousness. So that is the thing we should have to accept, or we have to accept the forms of the words there. And what are these forms of the words now? Polite, courteous, Auxiliaries are the words that can be taken as such as can, could, will, would, may, might. This has to frame with the words of please and sorry to make please, sorry, thank you when we make or respond to our requests. So that is the thing which we are going to be make with the sentences by the requesting. Now making a request. So how you are making a request now in the having of these auxiliary verbs? May I borrow your pen please? So in that way, may I borrow your pen please? Question mark. Could you borrow? Could I borrow your pen please? That is again question mark. Would you mind lend me your pen? Please. Would you mind lending me your pen please? Would you be so kind as to lend me your pen? Would be so kind as to lend me your pen please. Could you please do me a favor? Could you please do me a favor? Then will you come? Will you come with me to the doctor? Then do you think you could possibly come with one to the doctor? So you are going to see this. Do you think you could possibly come with me to the doctor? And what are these making of the request in this order? May I borrow, please? Could I borrow your pen, please? Would you mind lending me your pen, please? Then, would you be so kind as to lend me your pen, please? Could you please find or could you please do me a favor? I was wondering if I could do me a favor. Will you please come with me to the doctor? Do you think you would possibly come with me to the doctor? And these are the words. Would you, could you are the more polite and formal words, and that makes you in the direct request such as I wonder you, could you lend me your pen? And formal than direct request, could you lend me your pen? Adding expressions such as I am sorry to bother you, but to a request make changes in more polite. And these are the things that are going to be offered in the following of the agreeing of any sentences, agreeing to a request. May I borrow your pen please? Yes, of course. Yes, please you do. Certainly, sure, no problem. So what are these requests are going to be seen? Just see now. May I borrow your pen please? Yes, of course. Certainly, sure, no problem. So for this, you can have your things agreeing. Would you mind lending me your pen, please? Yes, not at all. Can you do me a favor, please? Of course, by all means. Would you phone? Would you please come with me to the doctor? Sure, I will. I would be glad to help. Then this declining a request. May I borrow your pen please? No, I am sorry. I need it. Could you lend me your pen please? I wish I could have, but I do not have it with me. Would you mind lending me? Would you mind lending me your pen? Please, I am afraid. I cannot. Would you mind lending me your pen, please? I am afraid. I can't. Could you please tell me the way to the station? I am afraid. I don't know. I am sorry. Then, will you please come with me to the doctor? I am sorry. I cannot. I am very busy. And these are the agreeing forms of the request where we are going to use in the following of the between the sentences that can be taken. Now you can see here with the words. Could you please help me with my homework? No, I am sorry, I cannot. Would you mind helping me with my homework? Of course, by all means. Third one, will you mind lending? I am not sorry or I am unable to have the amount. Do you think you called me your car today? Yes, of course. Do you think that you called me or you called me dash? These boxes are too heavy. These boxes are too heavy. Could you please him? Could you please buy me? Or could you please help me in lifting them? And in the negative form, I am sorry, I cannot help as I am not well. And these are the sentences which are being given with the positive, negative as indicated with the following words there. Now the last format of the words that are being given in the consideration of these things can be taken with the things of the examples in today's session. So along with this we are going to have a small topic of punctuation that the colon is used now. So in the other part of the punctuation, just to take with the examples, a colon is used to introduce a chart paper, marker pens, a list. So that colon where you are going to use this colon, and this is why I need chart paper, marker pens, some glue and colored ribbons. An explanation also. The reason he gave was this: he had not listened the instructions carefully. And a quotation, at the quotation also, the host made an announcement: the party is over. While a semicolon links two balanced statements, a colon leads once from the statement to the other. So like this you are going to have your colon and M dash, where you are going to quote with the list of the markers, pens, glue, colored ribbons, and explanation is given. Though he gave was this: it had not listened into the instruction of themselves carefully. And quotations, the host made an announcement: the party is over. And while a semicolon links two balanced sentences, a colon lead one of the statements to other. So now like this, you can have to punctuate the following sentences where the capital letter is there, or where the small letter is there, where comma is there, where full stop is there, where with the first letter is there, with the simple examples of the necessary usage of these colons of the punctuation differences that are being optimized. And M dash is used to mark up parental information of the ideas. So this in the place of M dash means small hyphen to the big slash there. And in pairs within a sentence to mark parenthetical information, thousands of children, like the girl in this photograph, need your help to survive. To break off a statement without completing it. I think it would have been better if you show the kinds of breaks in a sentence usually represented by a comma, the informal things such as personal emails or blogs, but it is best to see the item sparkly in formal writing. And like this, these are the sentences in which you are going to have your M dash to be punctuated in the following sentences. Then I shall continue in one more session by conclusion of the last topic in this syllabus. Kusha, stop this one.